Hi, everybody. It's Jessica Stone at Stansberry Research, and I have the pleasure of Dave Lashmet, editor of Stansberry Venture Technology, with me here. And Dave, we're kind of talking about a lot of moves in tech, specifically the electronic brains in a lot of the devices that we use. We've got this deal between Nvidia and ARM, a British chip maker, for $40 billion. What other reactions has that set off in the technology sector?
We could see Nvidia and ARM become a potent rival to Intel.
Where would they be able to particularly assert that rivalry? What part of the business?
The middle, because PCs and laptops have pretty much been Intel's bread and butter. Server chips to run the cloud are a relatively new thing. Certainly how big the cloud's gotten because of smartphones. So if you win the middle, you kind of win the ends too, and that's the threat. Well, we know that Intel's building a graphics card to compete directly with Nvidia, but we haven't seen it yet. I followed Intel for a long time, and they built a graphics card before and it didn't work at all. They had a misunderstanding of how graphics cards work, and their graphics card in a project called Larrabee just wasn't nearly as effective as an equivalent graphics card from AMD or from Nvidia. So that they're trying it again probably means they learned their lesson, but we won't know how well it works until it launches, probably in the next 3 months.
You've got this Intel competitor, AMD, which I know has been really rocketing with this tech surge, a $90 billion company, 32 million in free cash flow. Is there an argument to be made that that should continue, or do you see opportunities for AMD's competitors?
So just like AMD was propped up as a competitor to Intel on the compute side, AMD's been propped up as a competitor to Nvidia on the graphics card side. And none of the OEMs are going to need AMD ever again. If they can get a competitor to Intel from Nvidia, they'll take that. If they can get a competitor to Nvidia and Intel, they'll take that. And then they have two large businesses that do a lot of research. AMD has to compete with both Intel and Nvidia and spends less on research and development than either one. So every year their research falls farther and farther behind.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a fair fight at all.
Right. It's a terrible position. But AMD survived because the OEMs need a competitor in graphics. And they need a competitor on core compute. And then AMD only made $32 million because the new Sony PlayStation and the new Microsoft Xbox need both core compute and graphics. And Sony and Microsoft can get that from AMD, whereas historically they couldn't get it from Nvidia and they couldn't get it from Intel.
But
so if I had to say,
ARM come together, does that change the calculation?
Yes, it means already Nvidia makes an ARM-based compute with its graphics card for the Nintendo Switch. AMD's already lost to Nintendo. And AMD will have to compete with Intel and Nvidia for whatever the refresh is on the PlayStation 5.5 and Microsoft Xbox Scarlet and a half. AMD could be gone in 3 years because it could generate literally no profit at all because it wouldn't have any market, that it doesn't compete with companies with better products that spend more on R&D.
Sounds like you think that Intel's going to be the only one left standing.
No, I think Nvidia and Intel will eat AMD's lunch and AMD will disappear.
Dave Lashmet, if you want to get more of his excellent analysis, please hover on your screen now. We'll connect you to Stansberry Venture Technology. And you can also find us at YouTube, at LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching. That's all for now.